Hello friend, welcome back. In this video, I want to discuss about after end of this course, what type of project you will build it with using that Laravel and ChatGPT API. So here for this project, we'll use that Laravel 12 and ChatGPT API. So how can create that ChatGPT API? How can integrate that ChatGPT API in your Laravel project? And throughout this, how can generate the audio, images, the content, everything I will show you with the live example. Everything you will be learning it from today's scratch. Like here, I want to show you what type of project we will develop here when you log in. Okay, here that will be the logging part. So after that logging, that is the generate content part. So that is the different type of generate content. Like this type of one of the things here, you can actually able to get it, all the things that is actually created by the AI. Okay, you can see that is our details page. Here, if you go, that is also the content is generated throughout that AI. If you go to that our add content part, here if you actually simply put one of the topic. So whatever the topic you will choose it, like I want to put it as a tell me our best, okay, best video software or AI tools. I make it as a video AI tools in 2025. Okay, so I just put one of the simple title as a best video AI tools in 2025. So now you can also able to add that word limit. How many word you want to define? Like for education purpose, I want to define it as a 300 word. So here now after that, when you click it as a generate content, that is the title that will be sent it to the ChatGPT API, and API will be understand your that content title data, and by this it should be generate one of the complete blog details post. I show you here, I defined that as a 300 word limit, and that is the things that should be displayed in here. If you click as a generate content, now that is the loader is loading, and here you can see it successfully generated our total content in here. What type of things? That is our title, here title related content, which things actually suggested, everything is in here by your appropriate word limit. I have set it a word limit as a 300 word, and you can see it's also successfully calculated that our word data, and that is the word data is visible. And if you now go to that our generate content, and you can see there is a new one as a title that is successfully visible. Content preview is successfully visible. If you want to view it, now that will be displayed into this our model. So here everything is very clean. Everything is created by the AI. Okay, ChatGPT AI, if you want to edit it, you can also able to edit this content as per your demand. Here, if you want to change anything, if you want to update this text like your expectation, make it as a large. If you want to change that color as per your demand, if you change this color, and now after that here, if you want to save it, that will be also updated. If you go to that our edit, and you can see that is already updated, which is very interactive. One of the things with using that QLC editor here, that will be updated. So here you will learn it how to generate some of the content, and not only that, how to put some of the word limit appropriately. By this word limit, that will be generated their total entire content throughout that ChatGPT API. And also you will learn how to generate that images. That is the different type of images. Here you can see very interactive images. You can create it throughout this simple prompt code. Here you have to go to that our add generate image, and into this area, that is one of the text area. Here you have to add some of the prompt code. Like for education purpose, I'm using simple one of the prompt code. And now here after that, if you make it as a generate and save, that will be displayed as a generating image. Please wait. And at that time, it's already sent this data to the ChatGPT API. API will be get this prompt data, and throughout this prompt data, that will be send this our images throughout that API. And when this process will be executed, that will be displayed as a generated image, and our button that should be as a disable. And here you can see, friend, that is successfully generated one of the images throughout that ChatGPT API. Not only that, if you want to download this image, you can also able to download it. That will be downloaded, and rather than if you go to that our generate image, that will be also displayed in here. What type of prompt code you have used it for generate this image, that will be displayed in your library. So that is the content. You will learn it. You will learn how to generate the images throughout that ChatGPT API, and also how can generate the audio. That is, you will be your audio list, and here what of the topic you are added. Like for education purpose, I want to use this type of one of the text. Okay, that is one of the simple text, and this text I want to do AI will be actually created one of the MP3 format. Simply here, if you click it as a generate audio and save, that will be send it to the AI, and AI will be generated one of the audio. You can see that is a 5-second one of the audio. If you play it, that will be playing your audio. Okay, so if you also want to download this audio, you can also able to download this audio. Everything is creating, every content is generated throughout that ChatGPT API. So is the very important and very high demand skill nowadays. You should know how to use that ChatGPT and how can add that functionality in your ChatGPT, all that functionality in your project. Everything you will learn it by this complete course. So that will be one of the short course. I hope this course will help you a lot. So if you're ready, then let's get started. Hello friend, welcome back. From now, we will start our journey. And in this journey, we will create one complete AI content generation, one of the complete project with using Laravel 12 and also ChatGPT API. Nowadays is very high demanding things. Every programmer should know about it. How to integrate that ChatGPT, how can configure this ChatGPT API in your Laravel project, and throughout this API, how can generate the different type of content, like as how can create the blog post, how can generate the images, and also how can generate the audio. So there is a multiple things step by step. If when you complete this total journey, everything will be very clear to you. And I will start everything from to the beginning. So if you have already little idea about that Laravel, that will be helpful for you. Rather than you have to just follow my all that step by step process. And our total entire project, I will start it from to the scratch. I hope you are very excited to learn about that new technology into this modern programming era. I hope that will help you a lot. So first of all, let's start it to building that our Laravel project. So here, if you want to create one of the Laravel project, here in my desktop, I have simply created one of the folder and I just name it as a learning. So before install that Laravel, some of the essential things you must have to be installed. I want to recap it again, like that will be one of the local server will be needed. And for the local server, I am using that XAMPP. It's totally free. Simply go to that Google, download this local server, and here you have to simply install that exe file. And after that install, you will get this type of one of the interface. And here we have to do, you have to run that Apache, and also you have to run that our MySQL. So both of these I have already running. So make that sure you install it and you successfully set up it in here. Okay, so two things will be needed, Apache and MySQL. When you run that your MySQL, you can also able to access that your database. That means that will be as a local host and PHP myadmin. And now if you go to that URL, and into this URL area, if you run it as a local host, then you will get this type of one of the interface. After successfully install this our XAMPP, and when you run that our Apache and MySQL, you will get this interface. And if you go to that PHP myadmin, here that will be your database. Rather than if you go to that PHP myinfo, right now that is the current version I am using for the PHP version as a 8.2.4. So if you are using that a latest version right now running as a 8.3, it's totally fine. But now I am actually using this one. I hope this concept is very clear to you. So here that will be our first things, which is very important because all that our database I will create in particular that area. And then our Node.js will be needed because multiple packages we may have to install. So we have to install all that our third-party packages throughout this our Node.js. So that is one of the free software. Here you have to download it. Simply go to that Node.js official website. From here, if you go to the download, and here they have the different type of version. Simply select it. You can download it for the Windows, you can download it for the Mac, or also for the Linux. Simply download it, and here after that will be actually provided one of the exe file. Here you have to download and install it. And after that install, if you want to check it successfully install or not in your system, you can also check it. In that case, you have to run that our prompt code. That means if you go to that your system, and if you run that our command prompt, and into this command prompt, if you run it as a node, Okay, node and then the version, click as a enter, and you can see I am right now using that Node.js version as a v2012 and 2. So I will recommend it to you download that latest version always, as a v22 is the latest version as a LTS version, and but the current is using that v24, but you may get some of the issues into the current version here. That is actually proven version. I will recommend it to you install it as a v22. But now I am using that v20, which is really fine for me. And also make that sure you download it. And another things will be needed, our composer. If you go to that getcomposer.org, from here you have to download that dependency manager for the PHP. Because here we will install all that our dependency throughout this composer. So here that is also another software you have to install it. Simply go there, go to the download, and here you can see that is actually composer setup.exe. So that will be one of the exe software file. Here you have to click it, and after that click, that will be download one of the composer setup exe, and here simply next by next process you have to install it. And after that install, if you want to check it you're successfully working or not, in that case you can also check it with the composer. Okay, that will be the composer and then -v. So here if you successfully install that Node.js, only after that successfully install you will be get this type of one of the version name, rather than that will be not display. Same as for the composer. Here after that install that composer, you can actually check it with the composer version. Now click as a enter. Now that will be display like that. You can see right now I have already installed that our composer version as a 2.7.6. So here you will get this type of all the data. So if you either have any issues, then that will be not display anything. So that is the most important things. Make that sure you download that and install it, the Node.js, and also you install that composer. And I think pretty much the two things that is very essential here. You have to install it. Now you are ready to able to create that our Laravel project. Okay, so here if you want to now install that Laravel project, simply go to that Laravel official website. From here you have to go to the documentation. Right now Laravel using that 12 version. Now I want to install that 12. Here if you want to install that Laravel new project, you have to go to that installation, and into this installations area, first of all we have to globally, there is a installer, we have to run it. I simply copy this command, and now I have created one of the folder in my desktop as a learning, whatever the name actually you choose. Now for education purpose I'm using that learning, and I just name it as a CMD, and here I want to paste it. So that will be our first command as a composer global required Laravel installer. So now first of all I want to install it. It's pretty much light things. That will be first of all download everything from to the internet. So you can see that is totally fine. Our installer successfully done. Our next process will be here. I want to run that our project name as a Laravel new, and there is example app. So I copy it, and then here in particular that folder area, now that will be created one of the file name. That means your extraction name, your project name. I want to use it like for education purpose. I name it as a whatever you choose. I name it as a content. Okay, so that will be the content. So now this type of one of the folder, now that will be created in here. That will be actually our Laravel project. Now click as a enter. Now by this name that will be created. So it will be ask you some of the questions. Now one by one we have to answer it. Like which starter kit would you like to install? But like if you using that default authentication for the React, you can use it. You can use that view. You can also use it as a liveware. But for this project, for default authentication, I will use that as a breeze. So that is the reasons I want to make it as a none. Okay, that will be as a none. Now click as enter, and it's preferring the paste. I want to use it as a 0. That means our default one is also recommended in here. I make it as a here as a 0. Now that is downloaded everything. So it may take little time, and you can see it's already created one of the folder name as per our project name that I have defined as a content. Now that will be download all the resources. So it may take little time. Better when that will be done, I will come back again. And now it will be ask you another question as which database you will your application want to use. So here actually, as I told you, for the database I will use that MySQL. So that is the reasons here I want to select it as that is the MySQL. So I want to select it as a my and SQL. Now click as enter, and also it should be ask you another question. So that means whatever the project name you have defined, by this name it's automatically will be created another new database, and database related migration that will be also executed. So here I want to use it, so I make it as a yes. Now click as a enter. Now that will be created one of the database. You can see it's created one of the database as a contain, and also its migration all that our table. So now it's downloaded the rest of all that process from into the internet. So here also it may take little time. And now here after that will be ask you another things, as would you like to run that PHP install and npm run dev. So that will be, if you make it as a yes, both of these will be installed. I want to do, and I have already installed that Node.js. So now that will be fine. Now click as a yes, and now I click as enter. So that will be most probably the last message you will get it. And here now that will be download everything, rest of everything, and it will be executed our total Laravel application. Yes, you can see everything is totally done. So now it's also put you some of the command, like as a change directory, that is actually your project name. So here first of all you have to change that directory to that our directory name. Then if you run it as a composer run dev, your project will be executed. That means you can able to run your project. Rather than if you want to run it as a PHP artisan serve, then your port will be that will be also provided another different type of port. And throughout this port you can also able to run your Laravel project. So now first of all here, if you want to change the directory, you have to make it as a cd. That means change directory to the learning folder to the content folder. So here you have to run it as a content. Now click as enter. You can see it's now successfully returned redirect to this our content folder. Rather than you can also do another thing, simply close it, open this folder, and into this folder area if you open another one as a cmd again, you can see you can also run it from here. So now I want to run it with the PHP artisan and then the serve. Now click as enter. Now that will be provide you one of the running server port, and that is actually port. Now with this port we can able to access that our Laravel project. Now I copy it. Now go to that our project. Right now that will be not needed, and in here I want to run it. So now Node.js will be not needed, and that is fine. You can see our Laravel 10 is successfully running. Okay, and also if you go to that your database, and if you select it as a database, now that should be also created one of the folder our database name as a contain. You can see that is appropriately whatever the name you will be used for your project. By this name that will be also created one of the database table, our database name as a contain, and by default Laravel provided some of the table, and all the table is in here. So in particular that project, I don't want to discuss about every main basic functionality. If you have any doubt, I have already another playlist for complete Laravel project. You can also check out that playlist. Okay, so but now here I want to discuss about that AI content generation, solve that functionality, how can integrate the API, how can create that ChatGPT API, how can implement this API in your Laravel. So that is actually my main focus. Okay. So here is fine. Now our Laravel is ready. So now our next step will be our authentication will be needed, because here also one of the admin panel will be needed. From to the admin panel we will generate that our content, we will generate that our images, and also we will generate that audio. Okay, so everything will be very clear. Don't worry, just you have to step by step flow my all that videos. So now that is fine. Our Laravel is done. Now I want to execute that authentication system. So if you want to use that authentication, for the authentication I want to use it as a Breeze, and Breeze the packages area, if you select it as a Laravel 12, you will be not get that or Breeze. Okay, so they are actually promoting the default. They have also provided one of the start kit. So here actually start kit they are actually provided. So that is the reason here that is in here. But now I want to install it the Breeze. So here you have to downgrade to the version 11. That is totally fine if you are using that 12 area. A Breeze is also successfully working. If you go to the packages, and you can see that is a Breeze. So now I select it, and simple job I want to install it. So step by step simply flow that all that command. Like first of all you have to run this command. I copy it, and now I want to go back here. One of the PHP artisan serve is already running, right? So that is just running, and also this one will be not needed. I want to remove it. So now that is fine. So here I want to open another terminal. I want to open it with the CMD, and first of all I want to run this command. Now click as enter. So here it should be created all that our default file structure for this. So in fundamental I have already discussed about that things with you. So now I want to do here, that is actually fine. And now our next process I want to install that PHP artisan bridge install. I copy it, and now here after that I want to make it as a PHP artisan bridge install. And now it should be ask you one of the questions as a which one you want to use it. I want to use that our blade syntax, so I want to make it as a blade. Now enter it. I don't need this as a no, and I make it as a 0, that is a paste. Okay, that's all. So now that should be fine. It should be now created that our total scaffolding. Okay, and also it may take little time, better when that will be done. I will come back again. Okay, and here you can see friend, our total scaffolding is totally created. That means bridge scaffolding installed successfully. And now if you go to that our project, and here if you refresh it, you can see there is a locking register, everything is ready. If you click it as a locking, so that will be return direct to that our locking page. That is a route is created, and if you go to that our register, so that is our register page. So here, as I told you, I will not discuss about that forget password or how you can implement it everything, because if you have any doubt, you can also check out my this playlist, which is I have already created as a Laravel complete project for the beginner to advance. Here from to the scratch, I have already created one of the complete Laravel project. So you can also check out this playlist. That if you have little no idea about that Laravel, I will recommend it to you complete this total playlist. Okay. So now that is actually one of the things I have already done it. Now for particular this project, I will create that content generation with the AI. So I will focus on it. So first of all, I want to do Laravel also provided by default one of the user. That is our user table. I want to register one of the new user because I have already installed that Laravel bridge. I don't need this. And before I want to better go to that our project, and here I want to open this our folder with our VS Code editor. Okay, here I will use that VS Code editor. So if you also want to use that Sublime text editor, it's totally fine. Okay, so both of these free, simply go to that Google and download it. So now that is fine. I want to open this project with the VS Code editor. Here we have to run that as a CMD. Okay, I want to run it as CMD, and I just make it as a code and then the dot space dot. Now there is the folder that will be run with our VS Code editor, and here you have to make it as a yes, I trust it. So that is totally fine. So now we don't need it, and here you can see that is actually our appropriate project, and now that is an empty one. I remove it. Now you can see everything is in here. That is actually all that our route, our web.php, and all that our authentications related, everything is in here. Right, and that is actually our app, the HTTP, all that our controller, I will create it in here. All that our model, that will be in particular that positions. All that our view, that will be in our resources view, right? So that will be actually in our resources view. Perfect. So now friend, here I want to better create one of the new registration. Like here I want to create as a admin. Okay, I name it as a one of the name as a admin. So Breeze already created everything, only now we can able to use it. I name it as a admin@gmail.com, and then password I use it as a ud12345 ud12345. Okay, now click as a register one of the new user that should be created. You can see, and if you now go there, user table admin@gmail.com, password as a hash password, everything is really fine. So now here everything is ready made. If you go to that our profile, also Breeze provided this type of one of the interface. From here you can update the profile, update the password, delete account, and if you click as a profile logout, that will be also logout. So everything is ready. So now here I have already created one of the user, and now I want to log in with this admin as a admin, and password udemy12345. Now logged in, successfully logged in. So here friend, I want to add one of the theme. Okay, here I want to use one of the Bootstrap admin theme, and this is the admin theme. You will get it. I will also provided in one of the exercise file is a YouTube exercise file. So whatever the things I will do for particular this project, everything I will share in particular that area. Okay, so you will make that sure you download it. So into this video descriptions, I will share this link with you. Make that sure you download it. Okay, and here you will get this type of one of the backend theme. And into this backend theme, they have some of the asset folder. And if you go to that index.html and if you open it, I want to show you, like you want to open it with the Chrome. So that is actually one of the admin dashboard panel. Okay, admin theme. So that is the theme. Now our next step will be, that is the theme I want to do and to install it. I want to store it in particular that area. Okay, so how you can add that third party, that means different another theme as a Bootstrap theme, how can implement this theme in your Laravel default area. From the next video, step by step, I will show you that things with a live example. So thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.